everybody, what's going on? It's Monday. I totally forgot it was St. Patrick's Day until I saw Phantom put a shamrock there in the chat thing. I was just like, oh yeah, well I guess when it falls on a Monday. Yeah, not like we go out on it anyway, because that's amateur hour.
That's amateur hour. That's no trouble.
That's why we don't go out New Year's Eve either.
Yeah. People that shouldn't be drinking are out drinking.
Yeah, that don't usually.
Novices to it. Novices to drink.
Drinking novices.
Yeah.
Neophytes.
Yeah.
If you will. But I mean, if you celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
Looks like everybody's still coming
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, this movie, this was great.
It's a great movie. I liked it.
I liked this a lot.
Companion was good.
Yeah, we watched it on, because remember I said it was in the theater, until fairly recently. And then it was for rent on Amazon Prime, but it was $20, and I was just kind of like, man, I want to see it, but I don't know if I want to pay $20. But then I saw that it had gone down to $9.99. I was like, all right, I'll pay $99.99.
Well, it wasn't a rental for $20. You could own it for $20. And then they
now you can own it for $20, and then you can rent it for $10.
Or you can rent it for $10. I'd own it for $20. I'd own this, but I want it on fucking disc. I like I like to have a physical medium.
Physical media, yeah. Of shit that you really like.
Yeah. That way I know nobody can fucking take it. If I don't have an internet connection, I can still watch it.
Yeah. That is kind of one of the good things about having it.
Yeah, if you lose fucking access to your account for some fucking reason or another, you're fucked. You lose all your movies.
Yeah.
Fuck that. What if there's an EMP?
Yeah, what if the aliens come?
What if the aliens come?
And wait everything.
Yeah.
I think if aliens come, the movies will be the worst, at least of your problems, you know what I mean?
I haven't watched the movies when the aliens are here.
Maybe the aliens would like the movies, we don't know.
It's going to be those aliens and they just fucking shoot out the little fucking black spoo. It takes forever to read it. What's the name of that?
The black spoo.
Is it the black spoo? Spooing that shit out of the tentacles and shit. Making some kind of symbol.
Yeah.
What's the name of that program?
What the fuck was that movie?
Contact? No.
No. That was the one with Jodie Foster. It was just one word. It was one word.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was.
It was good.
Arrival? Was it Arrival?
Something like that.
I think it was Arrival.
It was alright.
That's the thing. If you're just gonna name it, a lot of those sci-fi movies are just one kind of generic sounding word, like Arrival or Oblivion or something like that. So it's I can't remember which one is which a lot of times. But so I don't remember which. Okay, this movie, I remember seeing a trailer for it.
He called it the girl that played the robot was in Heretic.
Yeah, I know.
That's why I recognize her.
I was gonna. Yeah, Sophie Thatcher. She was in Heretic.
That was a great movie too.
Yeah. So she's a
yeah.
And the guy that played her boyfriend Josh.
Yeah.
That is Dennis Quaid's son.
Okay. Yeah. He did
and
a great
Meg
job.
Ryan is his mom.
Okay.
He's been in a bunch of stuff because he looked familiar, and I was like, where the fuck have I seen him? So I looked on his IMDb, and he's been in a fuck ton of movies, but I haven't seen most of them. However, he was in The Hunger Games, which is probably where I recognized him from. Because I have seen that.
This is a great flick, man. It's about sex bots.
I liked this a lot. Well, what I was going to say before, sorry.
Go ahead.
But what I was going to say was that I remember seeing the trailer for it, and I can't remember if the trailer... Because you know how we had the discussion when we reviewed Abigail? Yeah. And we were kind of debating over whether people would have liked the movie better if they didn't reveal that she was a vampire in the trailer. This is one where I kind of feel like it's implied in the trailer.
Oh, yeah, that she's a robot.
And in the marketing.
Yeah.
Because it's I feel like I didn't even really read that much about the movie, and I kind of knew. I was like, yeah, I think maybe she's a robot. But, so I don't really know if... But the thing about it is I don't really think that the movie suffers if you know that ahead of time.
No.
Because I'm pretty sure I knew that. Because I still didn't really know where it was going.
I thought it was about a robot. And as I was watching it, I was like, well, if she's a robot, she's very realistic. But then it's explained that, no, she's not realistic. You find out more of the backstory. It's part of her programming. It kind of reminded me of that movie about the crazy little girl doll.
Megan.
That was another great movie.
Yeah.
This one's not like that, though.
Yeah, they're different. I was going to say...
more like an action horror type movie.
Yeah, this one I would call it...
Thriller,
sci-fi, horror, comedy?
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
Yeah, it has comedy in it, yeah.
It's funny.
Situational humor.
Yeah. It's not... So, like, I don't know if I'd call it a horror comedy necessarily, but it does have a lot of funny shit in it.
It's definitely worth a $10 rental to watch it at home. It's worth it.
Yeah, this kind of reminded me. When I was watching it, and I know you haven't seen this. When I was watching it, this gave me, and it's not really like this movie, but it gave me that kind of same vibe as Barbarian. And then I found out that the reason for that is because the producer of this movie was the writer and director of Barbarian.
I haven't seen Barbarian. You tell me I need to see it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll like it or not, because it's like it goes in like some wacky directions, and you really have to kind of just roll with it,
right?
Kind of thing, because you'll be like, "What the fuck is going on?" But it's like you'll figure out what's going on, but you just have to be patient. You know what I mean? But this one kind of gave me a little bit of a vibe like that. It's not as out there, but I really liked the look of this one, and I don't know, like it kept reminding me of
the writing was real good.
Yeah.
The writing was real good. It was I thought it was mostly realistic. We've talked before about like sex bots and shit and fucking, dolls, sex dolls that they have today. I don't know if the market would really want a robotic sex doll, basically, or a relationship doll that is this realistic.
Yeah, because this is a companion.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like the whole girlfriend or boyfriend experience.
Yeah, they're pretty indistinguishable from a human. To a person who wouldn't know. Although there's another character that I thought was kind of suspicious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it came out, it's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason for...
Yeah, you would get... If this was it happening in the real world... Every time you saw a really good-looking person, you'd be suspicious.
You think it was a robot?
Say that's a robot. I think probably this technology will be around. It's coming.
Yeah.
They probably have the ability to do it now. It's just that it would cost millions per unit. When this shit gets to be where it's 50,000, 60,000 per unit, you'll start seeing them. Because they'll just finance them like a car.
Yeah.
And in this movie, dude didn't even buy it. He was renting it.
Yeah.
He was leasing it.
Yeah, he was leasing it.
He was leasing it. You could lease one.
Yeah.
And
they didn't say how much it was, but...
Yeah, but probably a lot more affordable.
Yeah.
So you'll see that in the future. But I don't know if they... I think that the market would actually be more for fantasy-type characters.
You would think that.
Beautiful people that just were impossible to exist. Like something that looked like a person out of that AI porn. Or like something off of Instagram. Where they've tweaked those fucking photos to look like that. That's the way they're going to look. They're going to be dramatically different than a human. Better.
I mean, I would be weirded out by a sex bot that was this realistic.
Yeah.
Because I'm just... human nature, you would start treating it like another person because it was acting and looked like a person.
Yeah.
It would be much easier to not do that if it didn't look like a person.
Yeah, and there's a whole company behind it. Some service guys show up at one point, and the guy even mentions, like, why do people fucking do shit? He goes, yeah, why do these dudes fucking tie up their robots in the basement and torture them?
Yeah. Because that would be a thing too.
They would do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, there would be a small subset of the population that would do that. Absolutely. But Gen X Shaming says, Jenny looking damn good. Thank you very much. Phantom said the gay fat guy's robot was definitely out of his league, which is dead giveaway.
Yeah, dead giveaway. It's like, wait, but hold on.
Yeah, because Tom was like, wait a second now. And
this
then
guy's
like, later
just proclaiming his love. When they just walked in, I named a guy we know. What was his name? Fucking
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah. I said, there he is. And she starts laughing. Little short, kind of heavy set guy. And just gay. And he had a flaming boyfriend who was like fucking much better looking than him. And he's just proclaiming his love and how they first met and shit. It's all bullshit. It's part of the fucking, when you reboot them, you look at your face, you even give them a fucking memory stories of how you met and everything. They don't know they're robots. Memories. Which I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, that would be a little weird.
Yeah. If I had a robot like that, I'd want it to know it was a robot. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, that would be a little weird. Yeah. Because you run into that problem in this movie too, because they seemingly don't.
Yeah, that will.
Because he explains like when the guy, they kind of do a flashback, where Josh, like the kind of main character guy or the boyfriend, when he's first getting her delivered, and they're like telling her how she works and all this other kind of stuff, and he was like, well, do they know that they're robots? And they're like, no, absolutely not, they don't know.
You can control them with your tablet or your phone.
Yeah, it's like an app.
It's like an app, and you can change their behavior, their intelligence level, all kinds of shit. And fucking, I don't know if I can get too much into it without.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new movie,
it's a good movie,
and I was just kind of like, but man, it's like so hard to talk about like when you can't, because like I said, I feel like that's even a spoiler, like saying that Sophie Thatcher's character is a robot, but I think that they kind of spoiled that in the marketing,
in the trailers, yeah.
So I guess that's not.
That was
really
the draw to the movie.
Yeah,
you know, and he does some fucked up shit to her, but I guess we can. It turns out his girlfriend is this robot, but then it turns out she doesn't know she's a robot. But then it turns out that she's not his girlfriend. This other chick is. And
did we ever establish that him
they were a thing,
and Kat were a thing?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were.
But they didn't want the robot to know that.
Yeah,
because they were setting the robot up to murder a dude, murder Kat's boyfriend, so they could steal all his money. He had $6 million.
No, $12 million.
$12 million. Okay, $12 million in a safe in this house. This house up in the fucking countryside, way out in the country.
It was they actually, because I was curious where they shot this. They shot this in upstate New York. It's upstate New York.
Yeah. So they get the robot girl to kill the guy, and they had a way to do that. And then they were going to blame it all on that robot.
And then be like, oh well, she just like freaked out. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like no one's.
Yeah.
Because you know that would.
Yeah,
totally
you
happen.
could get mods to
like illegal
to get the robot to do something, but then you could take the mod back out of there and evidently he thought he could get rid of the evidence. Turns out it's not so simple.
Well, of course not.
And everything that happens with this robot's recorded. He didn't know that. So there's just all kinds of, because you didn't read you didn't see the
terms of service.
Terms of service, yeah. Terms of service is everything you do. This robot's recorded.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a joke. Nobody reads those.
So they know what you're doing. They know what you're doing with this robot. So there would have been no way to commit this murder anyway. They would have never got away with it. Although he tries.
Well, yeah, and the funny thing is that I'm not sure exactly what their exact plan was. Because it kind of went awry almost immediately, but they were like, okay, well, we can still work with this, you know what I mean? Even though it wasn't quite what they expected. But then, like, as time goes on, like, shit gets more and more fucked up. And, like, they just get in, like, hotter and hotter water, and it's just, like, all this crazy shit starts to happen.
Yeah, they pull their gay friends into it, and they weren't even prepared for that shit.
Yeah, it's like they're like, what the fuck did you invite us here for?
Yeah,
but okay, so the setup, we didn't even talk about the setup of the movie. What the setup of the movie is, there's like a little bit of a cold open where there's like a little meet cute where Iris, which is Sophie Thatcher's character, the robot girl, where she's meeting Josh in a grocery store, and it's like all adorable, just like a little romantic comedy or whatever, and there's kind of a voiceover where she's saying that the two most memorable times in her life or something like that was when she met Josh and then when she killed him. And so then they kind of go to, they don't tell you how far in the future this is. They have really good self-driving cars, which I know they have that now.
It's probably 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that far in the future. No. Like it looks pretty much like
20
now,
years probably.
Just with a couple of more advanced things.
Yeah.
But they drive up to this really nice remote house that's owned by this Russian guy named Sergey, who's like a bit older than them, and I guess he's got his girlfriend Kat is kind of like, she's just there as an accessory. She says he doesn't really, she's just hot and that's all she's there for, kind of. And so then they invite these other two people, Eli, the little chubby gay guy, and his companion, whose name is Patrick, and then they invite Josh and Iris, and Iris is kind of like freaking out on the way up, because like I said, at the beginning, they don't really reveal that she's a robot until probably, it's not that far into the movie.
15 minutes.
It's probably like 15 minutes into the movie, they reveal she's a robot.
It's suspicious, though. I'm going like, is she a robot? Is she a robot?
Yeah, like I said, I was pretty sure I just kind of heard filtered through the grapevine that she was a robot. But But so she's really uncertain, and she's like, your friends don't like me, and all this other kind of stuff. And it's pretty clear, if you don't know she's a robot at the beginning, you're like, man, that, because when Kat answers the door, she's like a super bitch to her and everything like that. You're like, wow, what an asshole that woman is. But then, like, there's reasons for why everyone is acting the way they're acting. So they get up there, and, there's kind of a little while where everyone's just kind of talking and doing their usual thing, and you can kind of like figure out like the dynamics between them and everything. But then not too long into it, they kind of conspire to get Iris to go down by the lake by herself, and then Sergey is down there, and because she's a robot, he figures, hey, I can just assault her at will, because that's what she's for.
Tammy goes, maybe the robots come in different flavors. Yeah. They have straight ones and gay ones and stuff. And
well, no, because CB said, why would you want a sex robot? Real women taste better.
That doesn't have anything to do with what I was saying, though.
No, but that's what, because Tammy said they have different flavors.
Oh, okay.
That's what, yeah. That's what that
Okay,
conversation
I thought he was talking about different kinds of robots. Okay. All right.
Well, we were thinking that whatever, I mean, just from the implication from the movie, it seemed like whatever robot you ordered, whatever it looked like, all you have to do is, what do they call it? You establish a love link.
Yeah.
Like you turn it on, and then you have to like put your face in front of their face, and then like it reads your face and like figures out your name and your voice. Yeah, and everything like that. And then like it starts building memories of how you guys met. Like you can pick it from a menu and stuff.
Yeah, and then it reboots and then it fucking starts, and it's as far as it's concerned, it's known you for a long time already. And
it's completely in love with you and devoted to you.
Yeah.
Not and you can that's the thing, like on the app on your phone, you can turn up like percentages of how smart the robot is, like how devoted they are, like how needy they are, like what their voice sounds like, what their eye color is.
Eye color, voice, everything.
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff, which is kind of neat. Like I said, you can modify them. But the thing about it is that when they come from the factory, and like I said, he's just renting his from a company called Empathics, and they have a set of protocols, just like the first law of the 3 laws of robotics or whatever, where they're not allowed. The robots are not programmed to be allowed to do harm to humans or to other robots or to animals either.
Now, they were asking, why would you just want a sex bot? Well, they're a lot more than that. They can cook and clean. They can do a lot of tasks. They're pretty useful.
Yeah, it's just like a person.
Yeah, and you find out that if you do the right things, you can get one to fight and shoot and kill people and stuff.
But like
basically
I said,
becomes a Terminator robot. You can do that with them.
Yeah. But you have to basically jailbreak it.
Yeah.
To do that, because they don't come like that.
The main character in this one, the robot girl, because of the mods that they did to her, she was able to fucking get around the ability to kill someone. She could kill someone if she wanted to, but she didn't all the time. She did it. It was like self-defense, and she was able to get a hold of her own tablet app.
Well, she changed Josh's.
Yeah, she changed all her fucking stats. She maxed herself out, and then later on she gets another modification to where she becomes free. That's towards the end of the movie, though.
Yeah.
There was like a robots rights activist guy who fucking liked robots, worked for that company. Fucking, and she saved his life, so he gave her a fucking illegal modification to make her free, and she ran off. It's got a happy ending. It's quite cool.
Because here's the thing, if hypothetically, and I'm sure this will probably happen, but probably in our lifetimes, if you could theoretically have a robot that was this much like a person that you couldn't distinguish it, then honestly it's almost like it should have the same rights as a person. It might as well be a person.
No, you're making it so you can violate rights.
That's what I mean.
You're making a slave.
That's what's kind of fucked up.
You're making it a non-human slave. Okay.
Which again, if I don't even know if I'd want one because I think it'd be creepy. But if I did get one, it wouldn't look like a real person or act like a real person. That would weird me out.
Yeah, I don't think. well, even in the movie, they say that they were struggling with a bunch of laws on how smart you can make one, or how fast you can, or how strong.
Yeah, there were a bunch of laws and regulations about you can't make them like super strong, or you can't.
Right.
I mean, for obvious reasons, or super intelligent.
The movie demonstrates right off the bat that if it was indistinguishable from a human, that's going to be problems. I don't think they'll allow there to be made robots that are not instantly recognizable as a robot. They're going to be strange colors, lights in them, colored hair, just the way they act. They're probably going to look a lot better than a human being. Going to look more like a drawing or an anime character. I don't think they'll still be attractive, but they'll look like if you've seen VR porn, it's going to look like that probably.
Which I'm
no human looks like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's easier to...
You look at it and you go, that's not a human.
Yeah.
That's what you
want.
want.
Like, not treat it like a human. Because if something was around you and looked like a human and acted like a human, your instinct was to treat it like a human.
Yeah. Well,
so you would feel bad about, like... I would feel bad about, like, hey, go do this for me, and hey, go do that for me.
They would keep it simple and pleasant.
I would think.
That's what they would do. They would just be... It would be... First of all, they wouldn't allow it to pretend that it was human. Or they wouldn't allow it so it didn't know that it was a robot. It would be a robot. It would know it was a robot.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious about, because you didn't realize that she didn't know she was a robot until later on. Like, because he turns her off, and then he turns her back on, and he tells her, and she's, like, devastated. I mean, because she's having, like, an existential crisis. Yeah. She thinks she's a person. She has memories and all this other kind of stuff. She thinks her and Josh met in the grocery store and they've been together. She has all these memories of them, and they're all like implanted. And so she kind of has a hard time when he tells her that.
I predicted that there'll be some of them that are just made for work, like you have today. Some of them for domestic work, where it's roughly humanoid, but it's not something you'd have sex with. But it's strong enough to say, rebuild the engine in your car. Or do a tune-up in your car. You don't have to worry about it fucking wrecking its skin or anything like that, or getting oil on it. You're going to have shit like that. But then some of them I think are just going to be for entertainment and maybe education. It might be a sex bot, but it also might be able to teach you a bunch of stuff, Teach you history or whatever. Because it would be hooked up to fucking AI.
Yeah.
So it would be able to give you any information you wanted. It would be able to run all your electronics, be like a secretary. Run get groceries for you, shit like that. Which that would be very valuable.
Yeah.
They're walking around all sexy and shit, booty hanging on the bottom, fucking shopping. Dude's trying to cop a feel off your expensive robot and shit. Don't touch that.
Do you know how much that costs?
Don't touch it. Get your dirty hands off that shit.
Polishing it.
Yeah. So then you got a security robot to guard the sex robot.
Then people would be like,
robot dog.
Robot dog. You'd have to have like a whole your sex bot would have to have a whole posse of like
a posse of protection around
protection robots to keep people from like jumping on them. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, see, that's another thing. It's like you'd almost be scared to like let them go out in public because
dude, you try to throw down on your robot.
Yeah, because they're like, it's just a robot.
Yeah,
I can do it because
robot might be able to defend itself.
Yeah,
you might be able to put rules where it could use non-lethal force, smack somebody, kick somebody.
Yeah,
Now, if somebody's trying to break it or destroy it,
So in this movie, they do specify that the robots are not allowed to harm people or animals or other companion robots. However, they do have, like, if you look at the interface, like on the app, they do have a setting for aggression because remember he turns it all the way up, and he says at one point he turned Iris's all the way up.
Yeah, like
her aggression and her self-preservation instinct or something like that, to get her to do what he wanted her to do. But he also like broke her so she wouldn't have that like don't do harm to humans anymore because they are technically not supposed to. So there are things like that you can. Because here's the thing. Patrick, they ramped his aggression up to 100%, and he wasn't jailbroken.
Yeah.
I don't think. Or no, did they take the?
Yeah, he had that equipment to do that.
Oh,
Remember, he had that thumb drive.
No, he took the thing out of Iris and put it in. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, he had that
so he was actually.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I thought he had just like turned the aggression up to 100%, and I was like, oh my god, he went like full like Terminator.
He had that one dressed up as a cop, and it had a gun. It was running around like a fucking Terminator.
Kinda.
Gay Terminator.
Gay Terminator.
Gay Terminator. Yeah.
But yeah, well, like I said, I feel like because Tom's like, oh, well, I guess they do gay robots too, and I said, well, I think they would just probably do male and female robots or all different gender robots, and then like whoever bought it, it would just link with you, like whoever. So
what about couples? You'd think that you'd have the couples option.
Yeah, they didn't really get into that. But yeah, that would definitely be...
That would be another option.
Another option, because it's like, that's some freaky shit we'd get into.
Make this motherfucker an orgy robot where it just has sex with anybody. Yeah.
So you should be able to like put both your faces in there. Yeah. So you can have like a third, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like
hook her up with some of my friends. Hook her up with Dr. Michael. This fucking pansexual ass.
Oh shit, yeah, he'd be into that. I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of an interesting and like I said, you see like a lot of movies like this coming out now, just because people are.
It's not far off.
Because it's not far off, and like, you know, people, there's talking about AI and sex bots and stuff like that is, part of the discussion. So you're going to see a lot of this as people, because I understand that it's just like any new technology, there's going to be all these minefields you have to navigate, you know what I mean? And like unexpected outcomes, you know what I mean, that you weren't anticipating, that you're like, oh yeah, we should have thought like to legislate about that.
I've seen prototype robots now that can do backflips, run up and down stairs, try to walk across tight ropes, and that thing weighs more than a man. It's big, and probably real power hungry when it comes to electricity. But it just shows you that you could make something just within regular human parameters probably pretty easily, as long as you had a power source. Because I would think they would require a lot of electrical power.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah.
To run something like that.
It wouldn't be self-sustaining. It'd need to reach, you'd probably only get a few hours operation out of it. Then it'd have to go back to sleep.
Yeah, they didn't really go into that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this movie is presumably set at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
And so, like, they don't really say. But, yeah, they don't really get into, like, her having to recharge or...
Yeah.
Like having to hook up to a power source or anything like that. She's just walking around like a regular person most of the time. But she will shut down if you tell her to go to sleep. Like she'll just like stop and her eyes will go white. And she'll just like sit there in stasis until you tell her to wake back up again.
If you look at a high-end sex doll, that would be good enough. The problem is the TPE they're made out of is pretty fragile. They'd rub themselves down to the fucking bones, the little metal bones and shit walking around. You'd have to change the materials. I don't think you could make one as realistic as they've shown in this movie.
Yeah.
She was fucking indistinguishable from a human.
Yeah, well,
and the materials to do that are fucking real complicated. It'd be easier just to make something that looked good.
Yeah.
A sexy robot. You're not trying to hide the fact that it's a robot. Like the sex dolls.
Yeah.
That would be the way to do it.
And can we talk about, too, because I kind of feel like the whole point of this movie, or what I took away from it, was that even though Iris was a robot, she was actually the most sympathetic character. Like all the humans were kind of kind of
she was around bad people.
Kind of shitheads.
Yeah, they were shitheads.
and they were just using her for their own. She was fucked up.
She was very wholesome and honest.
Yeah. And that was another thing, is that the robots can't lie.
Yeah.
That was another feature that they had.
Yeah.
So she actually
learned to do it though, I think, didn't she?
She did toward the end, when the guy from Empathics gave her freedom. Like she figured out how to do it. But because she said something about it to Josh at the end. But yeah, I mean, the character of Josh, it's like I really like the two of them were really good in this, because Jack Quaid, the guy that played Josh, it's like he seems like such a nice, affable, doofy kind of dude at the beginning and everything like that, but then like as time goes on, Like, you're just like, wow, this dude's like
He's a shithead.
evil.
He's real
he's horrible.
Real sadistic.
He's horrible.
He's sadistic to that robot.
Yeah, and it's like he seems so. It's kind of like, I don't know. I just really liked that kind of heel turn because he seems like such a nice guy at the beginning, and like an actual nice guy, not like nice guy team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then like as time goes on, you're just like, as more and more aspects of his personality and of the plan that he had made are revealed, you're kind of like, wow, this dude is like, he really sucks. And then like the whole, I think they showed this part of this in the trailer with the two of them like at the two ends of the table with her hand on fire and stuff. And yeah, it's like he just really lets his true colors show. He's almost like his kind of monologue he gives toward the end there, like at the table, kind of incel-y. I think that's kind of where they got that idea from. He doesn't use any of the terminology really, but like the shit that he's saying is kind of incel-y sounding.
Yeah, fucking Tammy's saying she doesn't need a sexy robot. She just wants one to cook and clean. Now, when you see the gay robot, you'll go watch it. You'd want that. Yeah, he looks like something off a fucking. Looks like something off a fucking soap opera. You know, telling you how much he loves you, shit like that, and doing cool shit for you. Yeah, no, it's just.
Yeah, because Patrick was actually like a really good cook too, right?
Yeah.
Because like it came up a couple times during the thing. Like he was the one.
Yeah, the robot could cook.
That he was cooking for everybody.
Yeah,
and he was making like gourmet
like a chef
food.
and shit.
Yeah. So like I said, you could. I'm assuming that if you bought one of these or rented one of these, because Josh was saying at one point, he's like, yeah, you can. There's all these things you can personalize.
Yeah.
So like if you wanted to make it a chef or you wanted to make it do this or that, and the
You
other
could probably
thing.
just make him a butler.
Yeah.
Too, and a fucking and a secretary.
And they could speak a bunch of different languages.
Yeah, yeah. You could change
all this other kind of
change the
stuff.
language idioms on them.
Yeah, there was a funny scene with that
Yeah.
with her changing the language to German.
Yeah, that's because she couldn't lie, so she just changed her language to German.
So the dude wouldn't know what she was saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, which was actually pretty smart. Well, that happened after she turned up her own intelligence.
Yeah.
Because that was another funny thing.
Yeah.
When she got Josh's tablet that controlled her, and she looked at her intelligence setting, and it was only 40%, and she's like, oh, nice, Josh.
See, really, once she realizes what's going on inside this damn murder plot, it kind of becomes like most dangerous game. They're hunting her. She's in the wild, running from them. And the two gay guys, the gay guy and the gay robot, are out there with guns trying to fucking hunt her down. And they nearly get her. Yeah, they nearly get her. But, you know, I don't want to spoil what happens there. And it ends up where the asshole dude who's behind all this, he basically inherits the gay robot, reprograms that fucking gay robot to be in love with him.
So it'll do what he wants.
Yeah, it's calling him honey. He goes, okay, babe. You know, they're sweet talking each other, but he's doing it in front of the other robot.
Well, yeah, because he's trying to get it to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of having this companion robot and it doing the love link with you is that all it wants to do is make you happy.
Yeah.
So it will do pretty much anything you ask it to do.
Yeah, it was an emotional support robot.
Yeah.
They didn't call them sex bots. They called them emotional support robots.
Yeah.
And then... yeah.
Well, he called it. He's like, oh, sex bot. That sounds so tacky. He's like, it's an emotional support robot that fucks.
Yeah.
Is what he said.
Yeah. And then I think Phantom mentioned that the movie has a high body count. No humans survive.
Pretty much not. Yeah. I mean, this is a horror movie. I mean, it has sci-fi elements. It has comedy elements. But it's definitely a horror movie. I mean, a lot of people get killed, in pretty bloody ways.
Yeah, I want to own the movie. It's a good movie. Real good.
Yeah, I liked this a lot. Like I said, and I really liked... It almost had, like, a little bit of, like, a Barbie or a kind of, like, Stepford Wives kind of look to it. Like, that kind of slightly hyper-real, like, kind of slightly candy-colored kind of vibe to it.
Yes, it did, yeah.
You know, even like the font they used for the thing. So I don't know. And it was almost like a little bit retro, and I kind of really liked that. But
kind of 60-ish looking.
Yeah,
like
a little bit.
But a futuristic version of it.
Yeah.
And then well, the robots were a product, all right, from a corporation. The product was fantasy.
Yeah.
So there's a fantasy element to some of the motifs and the shots, you know, the credits. You'll see. It's good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like I said, I saw the trailer a long time ago, and that was such a good trailer. Like with her with the hand over the thing, like, and tears running down her face, and she's not moving it. And I was like, man, and she's like handcuffed to the chair, and I was like, man, I got to see that. You know what I mean? Because I was like, that looks weird as shit.
I don't know if this is technically a fucking Hollywood movie or an independent film. I don't fucking know.
It was released by Warner Brothers.
Okay, so yeah.
So, but it only cost $10 million to make it.
Maybe not Hollywood. Might have been something purchased by Warner Brothers.
But yeah,
might be an indie film. It felt like a really good indie film.
It did, yeah.
That's what it felt like. And so it's good. It's promising that, you know, America can produce some good movies. You know, fucking a lot of it's bullshit. Fucking, I'm so sick of fucking Marvel movies and fucking Star Wars and shit like that. You know what I mean? This is the way it needs to go. More like this.
Well, like I said, we've talked about this lots of times where I'm just kind of like, particularly, you know, I mean, obviously I can speak more to horror because that's mostly what I watch. But shit, man, last year I did a whole thing of like I had no problem at all finding 20 horror movies that I thought were fucking fantastic. And actually I saw a couple more after the end of the year from last year that were also great that would have been on my list if I'd seen them earlier. So a lot of good shit is coming out.
I'd put this up there with The Substance and Megan and what else would you put this?
I liked this better than Megan.
Heretic kind of. I would say it's about different kind of movies, but at that quality level. You know,
yeah.
Heretic was great.
Yeah, I loved Heretic.
She was in Heretic.
Yes.
I was going. She looks familiar.
Yeah, and I had forgotten.
Mormon girls.
I had forgotten too until I looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, duh, we just saw that fucking movie. So it's like, you know what I mean? I think Heretic is, I think it's for free on Hulu now, so if you want to rewatch it. Because we just saw it in the theater and haven't seen it again since then. But, yeah, and like I said, I feel like if you liked Barbarian, you would probably like this too. Even though Barbarian is, like, very different than this. But, it has the same vibe to it. Because it's the same guy that wrote and directed Barbarian produced this movie. And he was actually going to direct it as well. But then he passed it off to somebody else. But it has that kind of vibe to it. And it's interesting because all I knew about it literally was, you know, here's a guy and he has a girlfriend that's a robot, and that's all I knew about it. And I didn't even know that it was going in the whole murder plot direction and all that other kind of stuff. So I thought that was really cool because I'm like, oh, this is an unexpected direction. I was kind of into it.
He said he'll never watch Megan because it's Child's Play remake. I don't know, it isn't.
It's not really the same. I mean, it's a similar premise, sure.
A lot better.
But Child's Play was technically, he wasn't a robot. He was a possessed doll. He was possessed by a serial killer spirit.
Megan was a robot.
Yeah.
It was a doll robot that little girls could
There's a lot of killer doll or killer robot movies, you know? I feel
it had a little glitch. I forgot what happened to that doll. It was just it was new, right?
Yeah.
It would protect the little girl at all costs.
Yeah.
And fucking, you know, it's good. It's a good film.
Yeah, I liked Megan a lot. Yeah. I think I liked this one better, but like I said, they're real different.
This was funnier.
They're real different.
Megan wasn't funny.
Yeah, this one was much funnier than I was expecting. Like I said, it's not like a zany comedy, or I wouldn't call it a horror comedy, but it definitely has like a lot of funny shit in it. Like a lot of the lines are funny. Like you said, it's situationally funny. Mm-hmm. Like the pickle that they get themselves into.
Yeah, this group of people who are in this kind of murder plot, they're real rando normies and not real competent at really anything. And they just do some stupid
They just
shit.
had a harebrained scheme.
Yeah.
Which on the face of it
leads to another. Well, the
seemed
gay
like
dude
a good idea.
The gay dude had no idea any of this was even coming.
Yeah, because they were all just invited up to Sergei's house just for, you know, to hang out for a few days, like his lake house.
They showed him that money, and he's like, okay.
He's like, all right, I'm on board.
But he didn't really have the skills to fucking do what had to be done.
Well, yeah, like I said, they just kind of sprung it on him, and it's like, well, now he knows about it, so you know what I mean.
His robot boyfriend got him through it, most of it.
Yeah,
but eventually his time ran out.
Because the robot boyfriend, Patrick,
he was competent.
He seemed to realize that he was a robot.
Yeah, he knew he was a robot. He told him, I guess, didn't he?
Yeah.
He told him that he's a robot. That was the difference between that relationship and the other relationship. In the gay robot relationship, the human really did love that robot.
Yeah.
He really did love him. So
yeah. It was I know, it was kind of sweet, actually.
Yeah.
And like I said, and the robot knew he was a robot.
Yeah.
And there was kind of a thing, too, where he thought he felt real love for Eli also.
Yeah.
And like I said, it comes to a point where if it's that close to a human, it might as well be a human emotion. I mean, they're experiencing the emotions the way a human would.
Or no, I think it's all an illusion.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying that it's kind of a gray area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And which I think they kind of played with a little bit in the movie.
I was never really sure whether or not these robots were sentient. I don't think they were. I think it was AI.
Maybe not.
I think it was just AI. But it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
In the context of the movie. Because she ended up getting freedom. But I think she was AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she was a person.
Yeah. Hugo says, "Hey Jenny, speaking of robots, for your Scare Salon channel, book to movie, it would be great if you do When Androids Dream of Electric Sheep to Blade Runner." That's actually a really good idea. I should write that down. I want to do more book to movies. I just, they take so much time, and that's the only thing, but I'll write that down, though. I'll get around to it. I want to do another night gallery soon. Maybe I'll watch a night gallery tonight, actually. And because I've got to do a new episode of that, because I haven't posted anything on there since my last thriller episode.
Tammy said she just thinks the gay robot realized it on his own.
I think he did too, because there was a scene earlier where Josh and Kat were talking about Iris being a robot, and Eli shut Patrick down, like, would you guys not talk about that in front of him?
Yeah.
So I guess he didn't know, but then I think he realized it later, like, as they were searching for Iris.
He realized he was a robot.
And he realized that he was one too.
Okay.
Like, I think maybe he realized it on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the thing, that I'm pretty sure that he shut him off when they started talking about it. He's like, don't tell him that.
Yeah. It was weird. It was weird, though. I guess you could say it was kind of touching because fucking the dude told the robot that he really did love him, though. That it wasn't an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there was a whole thing. It was like, I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. But, yeah. Phantom says, this film and Presents are the best of 2025 so far. Yeah, I mean, Presents was really good, too. Completely different than this movie. I did a review of that over on my Flickers of Fear channel. It's like a really low-key ghost story, like from the POV of the ghost, Steven Soderbergh. But, yeah. Yeah, Straw Dog said Sophie Thatcher is also in Yellow Jackets. Yeah, I knew she plays a young Juliette Lewis. I'd heard she's in that. I've heard that show's great, but like I have not got around to watching
Tammy's
it.
seen this movie. I thought she
Yeah. Okay. All right, so
we can go ahead and shut it down.
Are you ready to wrap it up?
We covered it.
CV said, Jenny, what is next Monday's movie review? Oh my God, I don't know that far in advance.
Yeah. So when it comes to this one, we thought it was a great movie.
I thought
worth seeing.
I thought this was great. I had a really good time with this one.
Yeah. If you spend the $10 to stream it through Amazon,
or you probably wait a week or two and it'll be $6.99.
But you're not going to be wasting your money. It's a good flick.
I don't think I had a blast with this one. I think, and actually, like you said, we probably will buy this one eventually, just so we can watch it again.
I like to feel safe and secure that I own that motherfucker.
It's right there on my shelf.
I got it. Yeah.
We got to get the Substance too.
Yeah, Substance. Also.
I definitely want to own that.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to own Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's on Shudder, so I can watch it anytime I want to. But like I said, I wouldn't mind having a physical copy because that was my favorite movie of last year. All right, so we are going to wrap it up. Thanks very much for hanging out with us this evening. Now, our Wednesday show, the overwhelming majority of people voted for Carter Brothers, The Vampires of New Orleans, happened back in the 1930s. So we're going to be talking about that. And I'm probably going to be added, because the story of the Carter Brothers, it's like a cool story, but it's not like super, super long. So I might add some other Vampire of New Orleans kind of folklore and shit like that, like the Casket Girls or what's his name? Jacques Saint Germain or whatever his name is, where they thought he was a vampire because he'd been around a long time. So I might talk about that stuff as well. So that should be a fun, spooky show, talking about New Orleans and talking about vampires and Tom used to go to New Orleans all the time, so he can probably give us some insight into that as well. So that should be fun. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. Have a good rest of your evening, you guys, and have a good day tomorrow. We'll see you guys again Wednesday night. Good night.